Hey guys, we're here at the Fenway Park right now, and I just hit 30,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for that. I'll be back to you with a special very soon. There's about 30,000 people in this stadium today. That's the amount of people that are subscribed to me. That's crazy.
Tim, I think you need more exercise.
Exercise? I thought you said extra fries! Alright guys, I'm back home now, and that's the big news. I've hit 30,000 subscribers. Thank you guys very much for that. From the bottom of my heart, this channel would not be what it is without you guys, especially making videos about something as niche as fire alarms. Without the viewers and the people who make it what it is, this would just be a sad collection of videos. So thank you very much. You guys deserve the recognition too. And today I'm going to be answering some of your questions. I sent out a Google form a little bit ago where I had people send in their questions, and I got a lot of responses. So if I don't get to your question today, please don't be upset. Unfortunately, I wish I could get to everybody, but just due to time constraints and the fact that I don't have too much storage left on my phone, I can't really answer all the questions. But I will try my best. And for the most part, I also do want to say that you guys did a good job asking appropriate questions. Of course, there is always a little bit of a problem when you send surveys out publicly and allow people to be anonymous. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was some crazy stuff, but for the most part, all the questions were pretty decent. So let's go ahead and get started. The McG twin says, do you like Notifier, and what's your favorite alarm combo? Yes, I like Notifier, and my favorite alarm combo, I don't know, maybe a Simplex 4903 and T-bar combo. Sigma Boy 36 says, what day do you start the monthly system tests? It varies. I mean, on a normal month, any time during the month. If it's one of the pre-recorded system tests, then throughout the year. Let's see. Next, we have a question from Exit 911. Do you prefer horn strobes or speaker strobes? Speaker strobes. I think that horn strobes are kind of boring. Next, we have Fun in 2027 yet extra asks, how long have you been collecting fire alarms? I want to say 10 or 11 years. I started my channel in 2015, so it's been about 10 years. Wow, it's been 10 years. That's crazy. Zach DC 2002 says, I know it's different for everyone, but in your experience, what's the best way to bring the idea of pursuing a fire alarm enthusiast to parental figures? That's a good question. I think it's showing that you can be responsible and handle the hobby as something that's balanced and appropriate rather than just something that's going to take away from the things you're supposed to do. So as long as you're keeping good grades and you're doing all the things you're supposed to do, I think they shouldn't have too much trouble with it. Although, again, respect what your parents want. Again, it's ultimately up to them. Next, we have a question from Wilmington, Ohio Productions. How many fire alarm devices and panels do you have? Too many. I don't even know the number off the top of my head. Maybe I'll have to ask AI to count it for me, but I don't really even know, because I think I would probably have to count like smoke detectors too. But definitely a lot more than I can count on my fingers. I Am Happy says, Fire Alarm Dude 5967 is a great YouTuber. That's not a question, but it's just as good. Thank you, I appreciate that. Next up, we have Anonymous says, I know you're studying college. Are you studying anything related to the topics you talk about? Good question. Kind of, I guess. I was very close to studying fire protection engineering because that's what I want to do in the future as a career path. Right now, though, I'm going to be studying mechanical engineering, which I guess is kind of similar in some ways. But later on, I think I'll probably segue into that field. Let's see. Alarm Fire says, would your parents ever let you do a house system? Good question. I don't think it's really about whether they would let me or not, because I kind of have full autonomy over that, because I handle all of the home maintenance stuff anyways. It's more of a necessity question, because I don't really find it fully necessary to have a house system, especially because part of what I like about my system tests is that I'm able to customize the different themes. And already as it is, the system's getting kind of large and it's challenging to source all of the devices to make a full realistic system. But as of right now, no, but in the future, I can't speak to that, maybe. Anonymous says, what do you think is better, US or UK fire alarms? US. Simplex 4004 says, what's the cheapest device you have? Probably one of the bootleg devices. What's your opinion on the Simplex 59VO? Is that one of the addressable devices? Probably. I mean, I think they're cool, innovative. What's your favorite and least favorite device? My favorite's got to be my first one over there, the Vertical 4903. I don't really have a least favorite. They're all cool. Anonymous says, I'm just wondering when will you do a video about Simplex True Alerts? Like in a system test, probably not anytime soon, because I think I've already done that twice. And there's a lot of different systems out there that I'll probably never get to because there's a lot of them. So I probably won't repeat a system I've already done, unless, I don't know. Maybe, I can't say never. TJ says, what if you add the carbon monoxide system to the garage? I've thought about it. I don't really have plans to expand the CO system as of right now. Usually for carbon monoxide setups, it'll just sound a local alarm. In a lot of cases, it won't sound any alarm. It'll just cause a supervisory condition at the panel. So as of right now, I don't really want to add too much to the CO system just because I don't want to make it over the top, but maybe. Let's see. MTGAU 2000 says, what was your first ever exit sign? TCP exit sign, emergency light. My first ever one was EU2 LED, so generic. Why do you like exit signs and emergency lights? Well, they're part of the fire safety and life safety equipment category, so I kind of like everything in there. What's your favorite exit sign or emergency light? I don't know. Maybe the Curvista over there. That thing's pretty cool. Goodness gracious, technology really isn't cooperating today. Fire Alarm Guy 97 says, what is your favorite system test you've done so far? This one maybe is actually pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe the LED speaker strobes I did in June, or maybe these. I'll have to see. This is pretty cool. And he says, I love watching your videos. I've binged pretty much all of them. You are by far my favorite fire alarm YouTuber. Congrats on 30,000 subscribers, and here's to many more to come. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Damien says, do you plan on doing mixed brands in these systems? Do you plan on doing speaker strobes and horn strobes in one system test? Yes, and yes, I will do mixed systems at some point. Jacob Flanagan says, is there a sync module that can have strobes flash at 90 flashes per minute? Not that I know of, but you could probably accomplish that by just pulsing them on a circuit. Alarm Tech 5873 says, how many fire alarms do you have in total? Too many, once again. I don't even know. Anonymous says, do you regret joining the fire alarm community? That's a very common question. And I mean, did I really even join? I just make content about fire protection equipment. So if the question is, do I regret like the fire alarm hobby? No, it's been very productive for me. Jake says, can you do a BG12 durability test? Maybe. If I have like a BG12 that I want to sacrifice, then yes. Sigma person JK Kiki is good says, what do you want to do after you graduate? How do you know how many smoke detectors you can fit on a zone? When's your birthday? I want to be a fire protection engineer. That's something you got to calculate depending on which smoke detectors you're using and which panel you have. And my birthday is August 30th, and I'm not reading that additional information section. Jeremy's okay. I'm not reading that. Cube says, what's the strangest or most unexpected fire alarm device you've come across in a building? I don't know. I don't think fire alarm devices are usually that strange. I can speak to like installations that I think are odd. Like sometimes you'll see some crazy installations in buildings. I don't know which one off the top of my head is the craziest, but yes, let's see. PFEFFERWAL says, how do you know which GE panel or EST panel creates the integrity code 3 sound? I believe that's a tone generated by EST3 systems, but also I think that tone, like a lot of panels you can just record messages, so I guess technically every voice evacuation panel where you can upload your own files. Connor says, where do you get your fire alarm devices? Usually eBay, occasionally dumpster diving. Memory from the past says, what's the difference between a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector? One detects smoke and the other detects carbon monoxide. Exit signs you have says, do you own a dual light Excalibur? Are you going to sell your rare I'm talking too fast. Are you going to sell your rare units on eBay? Yes, and I'm selling some duplicates that I have, but I'm not really selling my collection right now, but I guess there could be a couple rare units there. Of course, now this is spazzing out again. 16-bit Doggo says, I know you've talked about videos while in college, but what about after college? Ooh, we're thinking in the future. That's like ancient times, or not ancient, that's the other way. Good question. I don't know. I feel like after I finish college and I actually have a career and maybe a family, it might be challenging to balance content. I haven't really, made plans that far in the future, but we'll see, If my career is fire protection, then maybe we can work that in. Everest says, what's a fire alarm notification appliance you think is underrated or overrated? I think the LED L series is underrated. People really talk about those things like they're the worst thing ever, but to me, it looks normal. It's just a fire alarm device with a circular strobe on it. But people always hate new things. Like every time something comes out, people hate on it for about like a year, and then they relax a little bit. Fire alarm guy 223 says, "How do you get alarm devices from the dumpster?" Ah, see, this is a challenging one because I feel like it's a liability if I talk about it because in a lot of cases dumpster diving is a bad idea. So I do not recommend dumpster diving. I can't say I do. Kitty Alarm says, "When will you replace that alarm in the second hallway?" The KN Cope IC that says December 19th, 2016. December 19th, 2026. So 10 years after it's been manufactured. Fire Alarm Chief 101 says, "If there's one fire alarm pull station you wish you would give up for a week, what would it be and why?" For a week? That's oddly specific. Honestly, any of them. If I'm getting it back in a week, let's spice things up. Let's see. Mackinac Fudge 5 says, "Do you watch other fire alarm channels? And so, which ones are your favorites?" Yes, occasionally, although I don't watch that much fire alarm content because I'm kind of busy, but I enjoy some Exit Sign 250, Nick Systems and Electric, all of the ones that you probably watch. Let's see. Tronicster, but if you can't pronounce that, it's okay, says, what is your favorite system test video? That's I think probably one of these, maybe the LED Genesis. Axel the Fan Man says, "What's your favorite exit sign?" Maybe the Curvista. I think I answered that question already. Space Dust says, "What's your favorite wheel lock alarm?" Ooh, maybe the good old classic Exceeders. I think those things are very useful for a lot of different applications. What's your favorite fire alarm brand? Simplex probably. I think they're very they always do stuff differently, which is kind of interesting. They're very niche in some ways. Anonymous says, "If you go to college, will you record the systems there?" Yeah, I think I will. Like if the dorm fire alarm goes off at 3 a.m. and I'm in a decent mood, I'll probably, whip out the phone camera, although probably not at the same volume. I mean, that's the whole reason I'm pre-recording all these videos because I want to have like a little bit of like a divide between my personal life and the whole hobby thing because I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break. But I'll still film stuff if I see something cool. Anonymous says, "How do you get into collecting fire alarms? It's definitely not the most typical hobby." Yeah, that's definitely true. I think not very typical is a way to put it lightly. Um, I'm not sure. I think for me, it's just the fact that all this equipment is designed for a reason. I mean, what got me into it the first time was a fire drill in elementary school, and I just thought it was kind of cool. But the more and more I took looks into this stuff, I just found it kind of cool how it operated. So I just started collecting all of this stuff, and now I'm surrounded by all of this fire equipment, and it's kind of unbelievable to me sometimes. Bro Matt says, "Will you ever make a video testing the residential smoke alarms in your collection?" Yeah, I think so. I think I might have one scheduled soon, or maybe it's not scheduled soon. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at the scheduling. Peyton's fire alarm says, "What is the rarest fire alarm you have?" A lot of these require some thinking. I don't even remember half this stuff in my collection. Maybe that thing, the Faraday 5505. You can't see it. I'm just pointing at it, but I'm sure you can Google it and figure out what it looks like. He says, "I love your channel and congratulations for getting to 30,000 subscribers." Thank you. I appreciate that. Sirens and Vacuum says, "What do you do with fire alarms that are broken or don't work?" I keep them for parts. I actually have a shelf in the back room, and it's just like fire alarms for parts. I organize them by like levels. Like for example, some things are like just brackets and shells. Like those are good for devices that maybe are missing parts. Then I have like devices that are just dead, and I don't even know why I keep those. Maybe I should just throw them away. Maybe I'm a hoarder. Second question is, do you plan on being a fire alarm technician? Maybe for a summer job, but probably not as a career. No. Epic Gamer says, "Do you have any advice to someone with a fire alarm fear like myself to handle fire drills, fire alarms better?" I would probably try and desensitize yourself to them. Like go online and try and watch some videos of, I mean, if you know what type of fire alarms are in your school or building or wherever you work, then just try and like get yourself familiar with it so that way when it happens, it's not that scary. I think that's usually what people do. Anonymous says, will you ever make another fire extinguisher brand comparison video? Yes, I just made a huge one. It was actually the most challenging video I've ever made. That thing was a headache for like multiple months. I'm so happy that I got that one out. But I did work hard on it, and I think there's like 11 or 12 brands in it. So check that out if you want. Snohomish County Elevator says, have you thought of getting a blue Gentex Commander horn and any AC fire alarm horns? Yes, but usually when I want to get something, I don't buy stuff that's on like a wish list. I just kind of buy whatever's available, and that's how I source stuff. Because again, a lot of this stuff is rare and it's not always available. Tomato says, what's your favorite fire alarm and why? Probably the 4903 9220, which is the vertical 4903, because it was my first device. So it's got a special place in my heart. That sounds so weird. Washington County WX says, do you have any weather radios? I do not. Maybe one day I'll get one and hook it up to my fire alarm panel. Turtle says, can your fans subscribe to me? I want to reach 100 subscribers. My channel is Turtle Emoji. There you go. And that's it. X Hicks Production says, can you do more reviews of fire alarms and other things like that weird Potter or something that looks like a P2 RL or not? Sure. I mean, happy to do that. More reviews are coming. Steven asks, US or UK fire alarms? US, like I said. Fire Pro Squad says, how long do you plan to continue your YouTube career? Most fire alarm or life safety creators become uninterested or fizzle out over time. Is your channel something you'd like to keep around as a hobby, or do you foresee an end date at some point? Good question. Yeah, that is unfortunately a thing. A lot of the fire alarm people I used to watch when I was a kid, because again, I was a very obsessed little kid. They're pretty much either not really posting anymore, or they fell off the face of the earth. But I mean, I really can't speak to the future. I can only really speak to the near future. As of right now, I am planning to keep it around just because it's something I'm still passionate about. It's something I'm interested in pursuing as a career later on. But who knows? Maybe like 60 years down the road, when I'm an old man, I won't be uploading every week. King Chris 825 says, can you do a basement system test dedicated to 1960s and 70s Simplex? I really want to see the gray 4040 up. Maybe one day. I don't have enough devices to make a full system, because all of my system tests, the goal is to make them realistic. So I need like multiple consistent devices. So it's kind of challenging to do that, but definitely one day. That is a goal. Mav says, how do you source all of your devices and how do you afford them? I mean, like I said, sometimes a dumpster dive, but again, I can't really promote that. eBay is a good place to start, and just don't spend money in a way that it's irresponsible. Lively1185 says, how long did the initial setup and wiring take you, and where did you get the heart of the system, the fire alarm panel over there? Good question. I don't know about the initial setup because I did it in stages over many years, so probably a long time if I did that all in one breath. And I got the panel originally from eBay. I bought it for about $100, and it was an RP 2001, which is a releasing panel. Then I traded it to a friend of mine, PVHC 4001, for the 10UD board. So that's the story of the panel, but that's that. Coolviation says, what's your favorite EST alarm sound? Probably the Boston specific tone. Anonymous says, how do you stay motivated and push yourself to make videos even in spite of being busy with school/work? I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not that motivated sometimes, especially this past year. I was doing college admissions, so I had to write all those essays. That in itself was crazy. And then also I was taking the hardest classes I've ever taken. Like, don't even get me started. AP physics in itself, that was a nightmare. Just thinking about it gets me stressed out again. But we're not even going to talk about that. So yeah, I don't know. I think I just kind of make time for it sometimes. But man, it was very challenging last year. And oh, hey Timmy, I'm on team. I shouldn't save that number. We miss you lots. Come back and visit sometime, and good luck at college. Thank you. I probably know you then. I mean, you're anonymous here, but I probably do know you in person. Good luck this year. Tanmay says, oh, hey Tanmay, how you doing? He said, what fail-safes and how many are actually in most fire alarm panels? And if the panel is the thing on fire, what happens? Good question. Each fire alarm panel, as required by NFPA 72, will have some sort of fire detection device above it. The idea there is that if there's a fire in the room where the panel is and it threatens the fire alarm components, hopefully the system will alarm first before the panel gets destroyed by the fire. Also, fire alarm systems have battery backup, right? So in the event that power fails, then this will continue to run for quite a bit. And if the panel is the thing on fire, then that is probably not a good thing. Pooh says, can you get an addressable fire alarm system from Apollo? Maybe. If it's convenient to do so, then yes. I generally try not to hunt for fire alarm panels, though, because they can be quite expensive. AJ says, what's the story of owning all of the alarms? Did you have to have a talk with your parents? Yes, I did have to have a talk with my parents. When I started this whole thing, all of my fire alarms were from my parents. The first few were just things I asked for birthdays, Christmases. Then after I started, doing the YouTube thing and monetization came, I was able to fund this stuff myself. But it's definitely a long process, and it's an accumulation over the past many years. If I look around, I have so much fire equipment that it's almost like unbelievable to me. Like, how did I end up with all this stuff? Yes, next up we have, goodness gracious. Yeah, technology has not been cooperating today. I feel like I've said that so many times. Fire Alarm Boy 11 says, will you ever be hosting giveaways? Is that something you would prefer not to do? Thank you for taking the time to read this. Yes, I do host giveaways, or I will host giveaways. Last Christmas, last holiday season, I did a giveaway because I have like some eBay inventory, and of course, usually I sell it on eBay, but I figured it'd be nice to give some of it away. So I made the mistake of telling everyone to send me like some stories about or not stories, like some background about why they needed a fire alarm device or why they were interested. And I've never gotten so many emails in my life. Like every several minutes, my phone was like receiving an email during the day. It was ridiculous. You would be surprised the amount people go through to get free stuff. But yeah, I'll do a giveaway again. Usually I just picked a couple people, sent some stuff out. And this year, I will not be giving my email for that purpose. I'll just probably do a Google form like this. But yes. Matthias says, what's your favorite fire alarm system? Ooh. Maybe EST3. Am I going to get a lot of hate for that? Brian says, no questions, just congrats on reaching 30K. Thank you, I appreciate that. MDB Car says, where did you get the idea to start this channel and why? Well, I saw all the other fire alarm channels out there, so I was like, maybe I gotta get a piece of this. And I was in second grade, so me and my brother, we were actually right there in that corner, and we started corresponding YouTube channels. They were like sister YouTube channels. His was about gaming, and he stopped uploading, but for some reason, I stuck with it even though I had 2 subscribers in 2 years. But somehow we made it here. And also, I think I've mentioned that I made it on a school account. This YouTube channel used to be affiliated with my school Gmail account. And in 5th grade, I got an email from admin, and I almost got this entire channel deleted. Crazy times. Simply Aviation 616 says, what is the best and affordable fire alarm for collectors, and do you have a place where you sell fire alarms? The best affordable fire alarm is anything that's cheap. There's no one device that's consistently cheap. Just look on eBay. If you want, you can save some searches and just look for fire alarm devices that are cheap, because at the end of the day, it's fire alarm stuff. People throw this stuff out every day. If you've ever been to a job or a construction site, this is not valuable stuff to anybody. Anonymous says, will you ever expand your fire alarm system to the whole house? Maybe, like I said earlier. MCD says, what got you into doing voice evacuation system tests? The ability to run voice evacuation systems. And what was your favorite system test of 2025? That is a good question, and that'll be answered in the December test, depending on what I put up. Let's see. Fire Alarms and More says, are you going to do more security system tests? Are you going to do a combined mixed signals test? Yes, I'll do a combined test at some point. I just have to do all the themed system tests first, because in a lot of cases, system tests are just determined by the availability of different materials. So if I happen to have the ability to make a certain system, and I'm currently like selling parts on eBay or something like that, then I'll try and get that system in before everything's gone. And I might do more security system tests, yes. David F says, will you be doing any more giveaways? Yes, like I said earlier. Any specific key codes for buying Simplex fire alarms to know if it's conventional free run? That's a good question. Yeah, Simplex has some really interesting model codes because some of them are like normal sync, smart sync, free run, of course, and then addressable. And you don't want to buy addressable. Some people, you can run smart sync if you have a smart sync module, but I think most people are looking for conventional. Goodness gracious, I'm talking fast. My recommendation is to go to the Simplex model checker. Just go online, search up what am I saying? Search up Simplex model checker, and then you'll get like a little thing where you can type in the model in question, and it'll tell you what type of device it is. It's pretty cool. What else? Damn, there's still so many questions to get through. Anonymous says, would you ever consider doing a meetup with fellow Massachusetts fire alarm enthusiasts in the Boston area? Perhaps. I mean, I never say never. I actually did a couple back in the day. I used to do, yeah, I've done a couple, but nowadays I don't really know because I don't really live in Massachusetts that often anymore, or I won't be. How long have I been going? Goodness gracious, it's almost been 30 minutes. Okay, I think I gotta wrap it up. I'll do like one more question. Elevator Fan 19 says, have you ever played Roblox? If so, what's your favorite game? I have played Roblox. Unfortunately, it wasn't like a big part of my childhood because I always see people talking about like how nostalgic they are when they see like Jailbreak or something like that. I remember I got Roblox and some fire alarm enthusiast put me onto like a fire alarm testing game on Roblox, which I had no idea was a thing, but like kudos to whoever created it. That is next level dedication. And I think I'm gonna call that it for the day. I apologize if I wasn't able to get to your question. There's a lot more responses, and I don't want to be here all day, unfortunately. But thank you very much for asking all these thoughtful questions. Again, I wish I could get to all of them, but I feel like my phone's either gonna lose all of its memory from this, and I won't even get to edit it, or I'm just gonna like go hoarse from talking so much. But other than that, once again, thank you so much for 30,000 subscribers. It truly means a lot. I can't believe fire alarms, like making a channel about fire alarms, was able to do all of this. I actually, like, again, I tell this story every single time, this sappy dappy stuff. But like sometimes I'll just sit here and look around and I see fire extinguishers, fire alarms, and I'm like, man, the kid who used to be obsessed with fire alarms, and I guess still is, because I guess I'm still a kid technically, would be so excited to run around this place and just look at everything. But yeah, thank you so much once again, and take care. Bye bye.